guys, we're heading in to see Timothée Chalamet because we're seeing Beautiful Boy, and then he has a Q&A afterwards. We can't believe he's our celebrity crush. It's getting real, guys.
Yes.
This is good though.
I'm gonna try it.
I was almost scared that like we would end up like just seeing the movie and like they'd be like, oh, there's an extra ticket, and I was like, no. So this is our Beautiful Boy. It was so fucking sad. It's so sad, but also like now the Q&A, but it's like so real. Addiction.
Amazing performance. I'm not done crying, but so this is probably the second role recently where you've been under a lot of scrutiny for playing a part that is like very particular in terms of like first playing a gay role and now playing an addict. Is it an anxiety for you to be under that kind of scrutiny, like people who identify a certain way watching you and making sure that you're doing it right, you know, whatever that means? Is that an anxiety for you as you are creating the performance, as you are doing interviews after the fact, or do you just say, well, it's acting, you're supposed to be someone you're not?
Sorry, I mean, that's an awesome question, and I think it's a mixture of everything you just said, and but at the same time, I don't know, I'm a big believer that the art takes place in the head of the audience member, and that, you know, to each their own reaction. So I think there's a lot of, I think in any art form, from music or anything, hopefully if you're doing a good job, you're making yourself vulnerable, so the anxiety comes in, you know, showing your colors and maybe people don't like them or something. But then, like you said, there's an added layer when it's specific to a story or a book or like to real lives. But I think you just try to do the best job and try to do it as honestly as possible. And like make your parents proud or something.
Yeah, I mean, meeting Timmy, it was just, I don't know, I was just really struck immediately. It is weird to talk about you with you right here, but I was just struck immediately by like how incredibly committed he was to getting this right, and you know, just doing this in an entirely authentic way and not relying on cliches. And he's so smart, and I mean, just such an incredible role model for young people. Like I honestly, like I couldn't be happier that we got him to be involved in this project, because he's just amazing.
I like how you said it a lot, because it can be very confusing, I feel like, and in a non-preachy way, just like in my first-person experience myself too, like in school or in college, like these are often avenues now to like being alive, like you said, and we talk about often like wanting to remove this idea of a moral failing with this movie. I know it's ambitious, but to those that see it, you know, and this idea that like drug addicts are fucking up or you know, are really making a choice in the wrong direction, but rather, as Nic said, like it's often a place of pain, not to like go party for a week, but rather to like come to terms with that pain and to bring it back to what you're saying. I think conversely, like with people our age, sometimes there's like a glorification of that kind of stuff and that lifestyle, and I'm not trying to be preachy or anything, but
no, but it definitely is.
But yeah, you know, so I don't know. I just try, like you said, just try to stay grounded, or even talking here right now, or that we're all like in a room talking about it. I think that's helpful, and I think you probably have much better things to say about it.
No. I mean, I just think for me, like it's, as I've gotten older and stuff, it's just like the little things in life that I've come to really love and appreciate. Like, I don't know, yeah, like hanging out with my friends and going to a movie, or, you know, I don't know, have dogs, like walking with my dogs, going surfing. Like, you know, I feel like when I was younger, I always felt like I was like missing something, or I wasn't like being a part of things, and I had like a lot of FOMO, I guess is what young people call it. But no, it's true. Like I always felt like there was something better that I wasn't doing, and now like I feel like so just grateful to be able to just like, I don't know, just like go for a walk. Before we came here, we just were like walking, and the leaves are all changing colors and everything, and it's amazing, you know, and that's really like a super gift, I feel like, that I've gotten to feel through this process or something.
Thank you.
What I think was so good was that Timothy, you showed the anxiety and the pressures of being a student, of trying to fit in, of your dad being a successful person, and you're trying to make him proud, and that's a lot of pressure. So I think you all balance that. Did you have, what was your research for this part?
It was a little bit of everything, you know. I'm sure some people in here have read Nic's book and his dad David's book. Like that was like similar to Call Me by Your Name. It's amazing to have a book to be able to draw from, and kind of know exactly what your character is going through, and then spending a lot of time in like outpatients and inpatients and going to meetings. And but honestly, in meeting with Nic again, I feel like that we've talked about it a lot, but I feel like the pressure as a young actor, I feel like, was this idea of going into it that it had to be like throwing myself against a wall or something to be good, or you like often see like press stories and movies come out of like how badly an actor hurt themselves or something. And I thought that was like a trap, and in meeting Nic, I was like, okay, great. It just made sense to me all of a sudden, don't play the caricature of a drug addict, like play a human who is addicted to drugs.
How did your relationship with Steve help enhance the connection between your characters?
Well, oh man, I mean, he's Michael Scott, like. So, if anything, that was like that was a little bit of not a hurdle, but that's almost like that would almost be strong, but it was like, man, this is so surreal. And but then beyond that, I get like extraordinary dad vibes from Steve, and he is a really committed father. Like he like self-identifies as a father, like that's his role. And I felt I don't know, in talking and hanging out more and talking about the movie, I'm realizing like how important the trust was with him, and I guess it never was clear to me because it was just like assumed he's just a great guy. But I'm realizing now and watching it too, like, oh wow, like I really had to be across someone that I felt comfortable, because it could have been like, you know, he's obviously a big star, and it could have been anything. I didn't know what to expect. So, but yeah, I guess that was my impression.
Yeah. For me and my dad, like we are super close. I mean, it's a kind of a miracle that we came out of all that, and he was so just forgiving of me, you know. I mean, it took time for sure, like a lot of time, but just slowly, like we started to build back trust. And you know, I think that's something you see in the movie too, is like at the end, that love is still there, and that's like, I feel like one of the messages of the movie for sure is like, even after all of that and all that they went through, like at the very end, that love never goes away. And you see that like, as they're sitting there in that courtyard or whatever, and he puts his hand out, like that love is there, and you know, that's the way it is in real life too.
Thank you.
Yeah, you had the cool dad who wrote for Rolling Stone, so. Timothy, fun fact, Jenna Fisher, Phyllis Smith, and Ellie Kemper are all from St. Louis. So, I know you're a big Office fan.
Yes, that's what she said, yes.
So this question is addiction. I mean, it was like looking in the mirror when I experienced it myself. So thank you. And Nic, I'm so glad that you're alive. Thank you both for bringing this message here. What I wanted to ask was about the parts in the film where you portrayed the recovery aspects, treatment, meetings. That was the most accurate portrayal of that part of addiction that I've ever seen in a film. Usually it's really focused on the really dramatic parts. So if you could talk a little bit more about the process of making that part accurate, because in most movies, in my experience, when they talk about the recovery side of addiction, it's an afterthought, or they're just tying it up in a little bow, or it's really hokey. It felt real and honest, so just wanted to know about that.
The more time I spent with Nic, the more time I spent with the books, the more time I spent going to meetings or centers or recovery. It was exactly what you said. I realized I'd been like sold a cliche or something, or maybe not a cliche, but it was an afterthought, like you put it. And I think the biggest thing for me, again, it like comes back to humanity or something, where you go to these meetings and like, I don't know, you see TV shows where they're presented as bleak or something, or very hokey, and instead people are full of gratitude, like they're saving their lives. It's often not with a month of sobriety or a couple weeks, but years of sobriety, and people are going in to really focus on themselves. And that was like a huge eye-opener for me in that way. And it's interesting because the monologue in AA in the movie is, it isn't like, I don't want to say it's sad or something, but if anything, I watched that and I go, oh man, that was maybe another opportunity where we could have like maybe subverted that and made it not as like heavy or something. Because in my short experience going to these things, like they were much lighter, I felt, and it seemed like people were very joyous to have saved themselves or their loved ones. And then shut the fuck up. But that like it seemed to like. Again, there wasn't a leap to be made, like you said. It would maybe feel hokey or something to be like, whoa, I'm in a meeting now. And when people do this in real life, like they're in meeting mode. When in reality, it's like, you know, one of my favorite things I heard in a meeting is like, your life is what happens in between meetings. And like, this is like your base, your safe zone or something. So people go in there and anyway, so that's really awesome to hear, because that's, I think, one of the hopes going into it. It's one of the things about Beautiful Boy from the book and Tweak is again, almost maybe in a complex or scary way, you go, oh wow, like this is a very human disease. It's comforting to think addiction has a face and it couldn't affect your family or what have you, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, I think that was an amazing answer, and I don't know, the only thing I would add is that, yeah, I mean, just in terms of like that message of hope that we're trying to get across with the movie and talking about it, you know, the amazing thing for me, as I've seen in recovery, is like, my life just opened up once I got sober. Like, it got so much better. And, you know, the relationships that I have, like, within the recovery community are so, I mean, they're the best relationships in my life. You know, I mean, I go surfing with these guys pretty much every day that I can. And, you know, it's not like your life ends when you get sober. It's like a death sentence. It's the opposite. It's like, just opens up, and, you know, you just end up having these just kind of incredible opportunities, incredible relationships. And that's something that I'm so grateful for, and I'm so happy to hear that you felt like it was authentic in the movie, because yeah, I mean, I think we just worked really hard to make sure that that was true, and we could just sort of portray it as honestly as possible. So thanks for saying that.
This afternoon. So thank you all so much, and thank you so much.
So I'm back in my dorm, and I just came back from seeing Beautiful Boy. Beautiful Boy was very, very good. It was a very good film. I think that it portrayed addiction very well, and I think that's what they were trying to talk about a lot in the Q&A, which I enjoyed. I think that it was just very fascinating. I kind of came to the movie because I knew it was gonna be good, because I love, obviously, Timothée Chalamet. Like, he's great, but I knew that this movie had some Oscar buzz, and I do think that Steve Carell and Timothy did portray their characters very, very well, and I do think that they deserve some recognition from that. I really enjoyed it. It was like, I just coming from like seeing Stars Born and then this, it was just really good, and I like how it brought awareness to addiction, like how they were saying that's kind of the purpose of the Q&A, is just to go out there and just kind of bring more awareness to the situation and just talk about it more as a disease, and just say like how things are kind of underfunded and stuff like that. So thanks guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it, and then also please subscribe if you haven't already, because I love when you guys subscribe. So thanks guys for watching, and bye bye.